Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome to the omniverse of Nick and the next one-parter analysis story, which is Lord of the Rings. What if Saruman took the One Ring? Now, before we get into today's episode, be sure as always to smash the like button, subscribe to the omniverse of Nick, and further acknowledge and support the future of the omniverse by checking out the Discord, Patreon, and both Google Docs on the homepage, as well as commenting future requests and expectations for this year in the comment section. With all that out of the way, let's get started. As I said, this is what if Saruman took the One Ring. Now, I recently got back into the fold of Lord of the Rings what ifs with what if Gollum turned good and then what if Boromir survived. Now we're touching upon Saruman. Now, a decent while back, I did my own iteration, besides Nerd of the Rings, Men of the West, and a few other people, of what if Gandalf took the One Ring. And that was just a short analysis because there's very little to talk about because it's so easy to figure out, and I didn't want to take away from what other people have explained would happen. This is going to be my own analysis and very short parter, yet it's going to touch upon the fact that Saruman is going to be almost just like Gandalf, except much more, let's say, evil and balanced, which is what we'll touch upon right now. So, we all know that in canon, Saruman was stronger than Gandalf the Grey and was able to overpower him, but still got hurt. And we also know that once Gandalf became Gandalf the White, he was stronger than Saruman. Now, I know the whole, symbol there is pointing towards Saruman. That's my mistake. But yeah, if you watch the extended edition, Saruman's staff breaks and Gandalf almost does nothing. Now, that couldn't have been Gandalf. It could have been something else, if already implied. But just from factual knowledge and lore alone, Gandalf the White was stronger than Saruman, because he did have a tiny bit of fight in him to injure Saruman in their battle when he was Gandalf the Grey. So, since he's Gandalf the White, he is obviously stronger than Saruman. Now, in my Gandalf story, and in all other Gandalf stories, if Gandalf took the One Ring, he would be stronger than Saruman. And Tolkien even said it himself, that Gandalf is the main one that would be able to kill him and, be stronger than Sauron, especially with the One Ring. Then we get to Saruman. And honestly, Sauron would be stronger, if not right around the same power as a Saruman who would take the One Ring. Because since Gandalf the White is stronger than Saruman, and Gandalf the Grey was able to land hits on Saruman since Gandalf was in his regular actual state, this means that we could pin Saruman's power, head of the table or not, head of the order, we could pin him around if he took the One Ring around the might of Sauron, if not right equal in power. So, whether Saruman would take the ring from Frodo, or maybe force Gandalf to make him have it, whether Gandalf would join him and then Saruman would betray him at some point, it all comes down to the fact that Saruman would get the One Ring. And one of two things would happen after the list of things I already said might happen. Either Saruman has the ring and is literally able to triumph over Middle-earth, control Sauron, or just, expel him, and he's the ruler. Or Sauron would take over, and Saruman would literally be no kind of match against him, except maybe equal strength, like I just mentioned. And Sauron, overall, the most logical assumption, if Saruman got the ring, it wouldn't last long. Eventually, the betrayal and this whole plan would come to the fold of Sauron. He would get the ring, Middle-earth would be taken over, and instead of a Gandalf taking it over, Saruman wouldn't even have a chance. So, a mighty war would probably break out, but in the end, Sauron wins. And I think that's most logical to assume, since Gandalf was always going to have more potential than one who betrayed the order that he created. Now, I know, this one was kind of short, like the Gandalf one, but a few things tie into that. Number one, this has been done many, many times, and I didn't want to repeat material, as well as the fact that Saruman having the ring would be comparable to Gandalf in a lot of ways, while not being comparable to Gandalf at all, considering strength-wise. And that's why this was more of a strength attribute what-if than an actual what-if. But it did answer the question. If Saruman got the ring, everyone would have died, and then he would have died at the end. Because Gandalf and Galadriel are the main two. Yes, Saruman was the head of his order. But understand this. If he was weak enough to have his staff broken by the likes of Gandalf the White, then he's weaker than Galadriel or Gandalf at their peaks, as well as them having the One Ring. So, this all stems down from the fact that Saruman betraying everybody would have ended up even worse if he took the ring, because it would have betrayed him in the end, leading to Sauron killing him. So, the betrayer gets betrayed, essentially, because the One Ring answered to one person, and that's Sauron. So I hope you guys liked this brief analysis, because honestly, I don't think I could have made this a story even if I wanted to. Heck, the Boromir one was probably more interesting. But this is still a very interesting concept. It's just that the Lord of the Rings universe, there's not a huge bunch of like stuff that I could make like multiple parts of. So that's why they've all been analysis videos. It's hard. But if I ever comes a situation where I'm able to make more than one part, I definitely will. But just understand this. Lord of the Rings universe, even with Rings of Power included, because we still haven't got a conclusion to that yet. Until we do, all of what's going to be happening with Lord of the Rings is just single parts. Which I hope you guys are okay with, for those of you who are Lord of the Rings fans. Although it hasn't always got the most support here on the channel. Maybe it just needs wider reception is all. But I'm okay with that. Anyways, hopefully you guys enjoy this. The next two will be worked on here within the next month, because I'm going to be taking a break. And once I do, I'm also going to be working on the next batch, because I'm pretty much halfway through, just one idea off from halfway through, this batch that I'm on right now. So I'm going to be working on the next batch, and sending out the YouTube, Discord, and Patreon notifications before I eventually take my break here today by the time I'm recording this. So with all that said, I hope to see you guys next time, and hope you guys like this Saruman one-part analysis of him getting the One Ring. With all that said, I will see you guys next time.